Okay, so Parshat Pinchas, many psukim about what? About korbanos, and so just now I was a little delayed because I was going around one of the classes. I go from class to class at Netzach and get to give a little about Torah in each class. So the last class I was in, I said I'm going to ask you a question. I already can tell all the answers you're going to answer, and the one that you're not. That was a very, very wise young man, and he got it. He was the only kid out of all different classes that got it right. So I asked, we're in the middle of Pinchas. Pashas Pinchas, dozens of psukim on what? Bringing the korbanos, Musaf. All the holidays we read this parsha because it tells us which korban to bring on each holiday. Okay. And we're in the middle of the 3 weeks where we are mourning for the Mikdash. Right, 3 weeks here, I look firm, like I look like a rabbi. Okay, I got my beard. So that's it. We're mourning for the Mikdash. And I said, what are we going to do to bring the Mikdash? And I start writing. And what do they all answer? Tefillah, tzedakah, Avrecha kamocha, kibbut avayim. I write them all down. You're right. Everything is right. Tshuva. Dying with everything. And I said the simple, I didn't say the right answer, hatshuva hachi pshuta. The simplest answer no one gave. Just build it. No one says, just build it. Good. And I'll say it again until we have it. Exactly. Just build it. So it is so not in our psyche. Just build it. Now, I'm not going to go into the whole sugya now. We will one day, Mitzvah Shem, go through it. But the reason that that's not the simple answer is because you have a famous Rashi that says that it's going to fall from Shemayim. So everyone quotes that Rashi. You also have a Rambam that says, in one place in Hilchos Beis Bechira, he writes, mitzvah saseh l'vnos Beis HaMikdash. It's mitzvah to build it. And the other place, Hilchos Malachim, he writes, the Mashiach is going to build it. So then the Rambam, as you could guess, does not mention anywhere that's going to fall down from Shemayim. That is so not a Rambam kind of idea, right? But he does mention Mashiach. So Mashiach, so maybe that's what's going to happen. So you could say the reason that the typical answer is not just build it because that's not psak halacha. I wouldn't go so far as to say it's not psak halacha. There are different opinions in the topic, in the matter. It is a complex sugya. And it's not simple. The only thing I would say is that it should be analyzed properly. For example, anyone ever heard of the song Anavim, Anavim, Higiya Hazman? A beautiful song, I think, from Shweki. Okay, and it says it's a quote from a medrash, and it says in the beginning of that medrash that the Mashiach is standing on the Mikdash, proclaiming Anavim, Anavim, humble people. The time has come. Time has come to come home, be back, and that's it. We have the Gula. Now, where's he standing? On the Mashiach, on the Mikdash. Oh, so wait, he's not going to build the Mikdash. That's a source. He's not going to build it. Or the Rashi and Gemara Megillah says that look at the order of our davening. The order of our davening is what? Baruch Hashem, Bonei Yerushalayim. Rashi says that's referring to the Mikdash. What's the pasuk after Bonei Yerushalayim? Es Tzemach David. Who's that referring to? Mashiach. Oh, so we have the Mikdash before Mashiach. What's my point here? To dismiss Rashi as he doesn't exist? Chas v'shalom. But to embrace Rashi that's the final opinion and not even learn the sugya. To me, that's what I call the great escape, to do that. Because out of all the shittas, which is the easiest? Rashi. God's going to send it from Shemayim when he wants. And what do we need to do about the 200 mitzvahs? 200 mitzvahs we don't have. Aliyah L'Regel, Korbanos, Tuma, Tahara, Sanhedrin. All the 230 that we don't have, what are we going to do about it? Nothing. Just wait. So it's an easy approach. Doesn't make it right. I'm not saying it's wrong because it's easy, but it doesn't make it right. So it's a sugya that needs to be looked into and explored, and it should be. And everyone should go ahead during these 3 weeks especially. Look into the topic. Okay? And maybe Rav Ariel, Machon Mikdash, the Temple Institute, who's building all the kalim for the Mikdash in the Temple Institute, and has a Mizbeach on the Big Dekun and everything there, maybe he's not so crazy. He's actually right. Food for thought. When we're reading about Korbanos and we're mourning about the Mikdash, we maybe should have just different, like, well, what is the approach? For all these years, 40, 50, 60, 70 years, my approach is just stop and that's it. And not be proactive. Maybe it's not so simple. And maybe for 2,000 years, we don't have it because we haven't embraced the right approach. Anyways, that's point number 1. Point number 2. Okay, point number 2. So we have Pinchas ben Elazar, the Kanai, the zealot. So in this parsha, it reviews what he did at the end of last week's parsha. Okay, at the end of last week's parsha, what did he do at the end of Balak? Killed them. That's it. Okay, and what were the names? It introduces them in our parsha. Zimri ben Shimoni. That's his name, and her name was what? Kazbi Bas Sor. Okay, Kazbi Bas Sor, and he killed them. Let me ask you a question. You go ahead and a person sees the same event going on, Chas v'Shalom, outside of the land. Chas v'Shalom. The same event. A Kazbi and a Zimri together. Jew with a Gentile publicly doing their thing with no shame or anything. What's the halacha? Is what Pinchas did a one-time thing? Because you have the copper snake. That's a one-time thing. We don't learn anymore that someone's bitten by a snake, make a copper staff, a snake on it, and that's going to heal you. We don't go ahead, and if someone doesn't have any food, so learn the halachas of the man when they went out to collect the man, and go on to Dolev, wait outside of Harmony till the man falls. No, that's not halacha l'maisa, right? Okay. We don't have any Garden of Eden where you can eat that fruit and not fruit. That those things are historical events. Is Pinchas a historical event or a halachic event? Is that a fun question? Both meaning halacha l'maisa. Julie, you ready? You see that going on? Why not? He says have a spear. We'll supply you with the spear. That's it. You don't have Moshe to ask. Pinchas asked Moshe. Pinchas asked Moshe? He did not. He did not ask him. Well, so first thing we always want to know, did the Sifrei Halacha quote this? Now, Sifrei Halacha includes, of course, the Rambam. Now, Rambam has all 613 mitzvos. He deals with all 613. No mitzvah he did not deal with. All the Rabbanans, it's a crazy work. The Rambam's Yad Chazakah, 14 books, is a crazy work. Okay. Then you have the Shulchan Aruch. He did not cover the 613. He only covered those things which apply nowadays. Tumah Tahara, not there. A little bit he has regarding a Kohen getting Tameh. But Stam, an average person, and how do you matire a Kli and the Kalim? Chil Hashem, the Rambam has, and the Shulchan Aruch has as well. Then the Shulchan Aruch is all the Tumah Tahara, Sanhedrin 71, and that's not in the Shulchan Aruch. And it's surprising which ones are in, which ones are not. But the day-to-day stuff is pretty much all there. Does he mention this halacha? Twice. He mentions it in Eben Ha'ezer, because that's where we talk about prohibited relationships. Who a Kohen can marry, who a regular Jew can marry, marrying a Mitzri convert, all that's halacha mentioned. And what about it? And what about with a guy, a Jew with a guy? So the Shulchan Aruch mentions over there, Kanaim Hogimbo. A Kanai, a zealot, goes in and takes care of them. Choshen Mishpat, the end of Choshen Mishpat. So normally we don't kill people. It has to go to Beis Din. The Beis Din doesn't operate anymore in the typical case where they judge someone for idolatry or murder, where they'll execute. We don't have that anymore. But the end of Choshen Mishpah said there are times when a person takes laws into their own hands. You go ahead and you see someone running after someone else to kill them. He is called a what? Rodef. So then he's a Rodef. The halacha is what? You kill him first. He's a Rodef. What if you see someone running after someone not to kill, but to rape a person? You're not killing them. Do you kill him? Absolutely. Okay, if you shoot him in the leg in certain cases, it not have to kill, but if you just have to shoot and whatever happens, then that's what you do. What if you see someone publicly, like a Zimri in a Cosby case? So what does it say there? Kana'im pogimbo. Someone who's a zealot, it goes in and takes care of them. It's an amazing halacha. It's brought down. Okay, how do you apply to 2024 and today's society? And okay, it's a good shayla practically. But in terms of the Shulchan Aruch, it's brought down. And this has nothing to do with Western values whatsoever. Maybe someone who's a Rodef that the world could accept. He's going to kill, A is going to kill B, so the world might accept to kill A. But this man in a consensual relationship with his girlfriend on the beach, doing what they're doing, it's live and let live. That's right, and that's not the halacha. That's not the halacha. Is not live and let live. That's why we have such an unbelievable clash in the in Israel, where you have it's by the Western founders of the state, not by Torah Jews, and it's not built into the law here in the state that it's a halachic state, medina kahalacha, and that's an unbelievable clash with Torah. How the two are going to work together one day, I have no idea. How are you going to have a medina kahalacha where medina kahalacha means where there's Beis Dins and that people have stores open on Shabbos? No, you can't have that. And a guy, with someone he's not allowed to be with, walking hand in hand. No, he can't have that. We're so far from it. What's called ratzoi and matzoi. Ratzoi is the dream, how it should be, and matzoi is how it is. So there's a huge gap. How it's going to, how it's going to be worked out, I have no idea. But anyways, this halacha of Pinchas, the crazy extreme zealot, is brought down in halacha. It's an amazing, amazing thing. And it's just important for us to know that the gap between the Western world, what we all read and live in and come from, and we appreciate to a great extent, we have to know the gap is huge. It's huge between where we're at and between where the Torah is at. And this is a glaring example. Anyways, that's point number 2. So point number 1 is about the korbanos. And we shouldn't just say how we're going to get the korbanos back through Torah and Tefillah and mitzvahs. Yes, that's major part, but we have to look into that sugya about maybe just building it. Point number 2 is Kana'im Pogimbo. Pinchas is not some historical event. It's a halachic event for all times. How do you apply in different societies? That's a shaila, okay? And then what happened to Pinchas? What happened to Pinchas? He received a very fascinating reward. What was the reward that he received? In a tale of an esprit kahuna, because he was born before he was declared kahuna, and brisi shalom. In a tale of es brisi shalom, right? So es brisi shalom, he's given shalom. So that is a fascinating reward. So some say he did such an unbelievable act, but that unbelievable act could also have detrimental effects on his personality. He could become a belligerent person. And doing that in front of everyone was an unbelievable act of chutzpah, good chutzpah, healthy chutzpah. But it was actually like, that's it. I am now transformed into G.I. Joe. Anyone remember G.I. Joe? Is he still around? Oh, you just never know. Like Spider-Man's still around. Spider-Man, Batman, they have longevity. G.I. Joe's still around. Just never. What? So I remember my GI Joe, and I threw him off my porch in a parachute. He was amazing. But I haven't seen him. See, Spider-Man's still around. Anyways, so I'm GI Joe now, and that could transform him in a very unhealthy way. And many of our holy chayalim who are in the highest units, it's a real danger where they are taught to just kill and be unbelievable killers, which is amazing. How else do you have these guys, the holiest, go in 2 months ago to capture the hostages, and just they're going into death. They are taught to be like, just have the thickest skin possible to go ahead to do that and just not be afraid of anything. Where it's not that there's a chance they're going to die in that mission. They probably are going to die in that mission. They just go in and they go protect the person with their body. The dimes are in our hands. They're talking about like a different level human beings. Where the Mesiras Nefesh, we talk about Mesiras Nefesh all the time. It's all a joke. We should all be involved in Mesiras Nefesh, give a person a lift, and go talk with someone and confidence. It's all good Mesiras Nefesh, but there's no one doing Mesiras Nefesh literally like our boys. It's just a different level. And these boys, just forget it. It's not normal. Anyways, but there's a problem, a challenge that it could transform them. And therefore Hashem went ahead, I am giving you the bracha of Shalom, Pinchas, meaning that this will not harm you. That act that you did will not make you into a belligerent person. It's a beautiful bracha. I'm always so happy when I go ahead and I go to any machsom, the checkpoint. So, and they got the gun ready, and they're gonna smile. And to me, anyone ever knows they're gonna go to machsom, you have an absolute mitzvah to go to the makola beforehand and buy treats for them. Absolutely, okay. And every time I know I'm gonna pass by, I get them some treats, some nuts, whatever it may be. And bags of it. Someone told me years ago, no, they're not allowed to take it. Never once they not take it. They take it, they're allowed to take it. If they're not allowed, they take it anyway. Either way, they take it. And to make it sealed, so there's no problem of any fear of anything. And I love that, they give a big smile and thank you. They thank me. You're standing here, it's 150 degrees out, thanking me. I'm driving my air conditioning car over here, passing through, spending a few shekels. Thank me. What a joke. Thank you. You guys are the heroes of our generation. But they smile. These same people who are ready to kill are smiling. I never met people from the Navy in America, but I'd like to see someone from the Navy at a checkpoint. Not from the Navy, love that, a Marine, whatever it is, anyone from any of the Army people, okay? I'd like to see anyone at a checkpoint where they're ready on the trigger and, hey, how you doing? Hey, good, thank you. And I don't blame them. They're in the killer mode, which I understand totally. But the Jews, Baruch Hashem, could be in the killer mode, but like also have that, the chain and the love still there. It's amazing. But people want deep units. It's a real danger. And it's a nice thing. We daven for chayalim every day, and we should daven. I had into its fears when you daven for the high safety for brias hanefesh ubrias haguf, daven for them. That's your brias hanefesh. They shouldn't just be physically fine. Psychologically, emotionally, spiritually, they should be fine. Hashem protect them. They go through such challenging things that could change their nature. And Pinchas needed a bracha of shalom. So we should certainly daven for our chayalim, that they should have shalom in the full sense of the word. Okay, it's a very important point. A very important point. Anyways, let's just summarize some of the points. So the first point is you have dozens of psukim on korbanos, dozens and dozens. Every yontif is based on this. When you take out the second Torah to read, maftir, it's from Pinchas. Of course, you're going to read on that day from the korbanos of that day. So we have to go ahead when we're mourning the Mikdash and thinking about that. Write your list of all the mitzvahs to do to helping the Mikdash, but look into the sugya of the Shechma Sidros of Rosh Hashanah. Like maybe we should be more proactive. Go visit Machon Mikdash, read the literature there. See, it should be a topic of interest. Then number 2 is Pinchas to Kanai the Zealot. So is that historical or halachic? And it's mentioned twice that I know in the Shulchan Aruch Yeah, halacha l'maisa. How to apply halacha l'maisa today, I don't know, but it is halacha in the Shulchan Aruch, been 500 years ago. And yeah, if you see such an act going on, if you see the road Dave chasing act, for sure, but that the whole world can accept. But consensual, what's the problem? Everything is fine. The 1960s taught us just everything goes as long as you don't hurt anyone, right? And not only is it acceptable, we have pride in these things, right? You see how things develop. It's not just not us, it's mutter, and it's something that we have pride in. It's just so we should just understand the contract. Tel Aviv is considered, I think, the #2 city in the world for acceptance of gay and lesbians and this and that. We should just understand what's going on in Israel so we understand the conflict that's here. Okay, and the Torah has clear values that are not that way. I'm not getting into someone who has these natural inclinations. I'm not getting into it, but it's not his fault. I'm not getting into that. Just halachically, the acts are asor. Inclinations are inclinations. The act is asor. That's just what we hold. And then finally, number three is Pinchas, Shalom. God gave him that gift of Shalom because the act could really be detrimental and could bring a person down. And therefore, Hashem says, I'm giving you this Shalom, and it's not going to bring you down. And we have to daven for our chaylim. And I think it's a nice thing to add in. Before you take your 3 steps back, you could add anything you want in your tefillah, Shemona Esrei. In Shema Kolin also, but sometimes it can get complicated. Before you take your 3 steps back in English, add anything that you want. And you go ahead, Hashem, please protect the chayalim, give you a whole list of all the cholim. You could do that in Rafeinu as well. And pray for the hostages, pray for chayalim. I pray for Bibi every day, and I ask for 4 things. Every day I ask for 4 things. I ask that Hashem gives him chachma, bina, das, and gevura. You need a lot of gevura to face off against all the leftists in our country, to face off all against the evil forces in the world. And that's what I daven with him every day, for him and all our leaders that could do that. So, Emiyatz Hashem, we should keep davening. We should daven for the Mikdash, proactive in one way or another about it. Daven for all chayalim. Emiyatz Hashem, we should have Shruks Tovas. Better days ahead. Yes.
Since October 7th, before an Israeli soldier had very cautious before he shot an arrow.
Yes, it's a little bit. I mean, you have to get the reports firsthand, but I asked one of my chaylim from Shul, and he says he sees it like he's in Gaza, and you have some crazy stories come out. They can't shoot unless the bullet's at you. He said it's not the case. He told me it's not. That's his report. I think so, yeah, but I'm not in it to really say firsthand. But that's what I heard from one of my chaylim in Shul. That's why I daven every day. Bibi, Hashem, give him chachma, bina, das, and gvura to keep strong. Okay, be well. Have a good Shabbos. Take care. Take care. Oh, I was, bye-bye. I was asked